awkward silence.
All right. Welcome everybody to our regular public council meeting for Monday, January 22nd, 2024. Where are we here? New business. Councillor Tepper.
Pass.
Councillor Manning.
I'll pass also.
Councillor Pollard.
Pass.
Councillor Appleby.
Thank you and condolences.
Councillor Goss.
Pass.
Deputy Mayor.
Pass.
Okay, I got a couple of thanks and congrats. All right, we got any questions from that came in? No? Good. Is there anybody here who wants to get on the first Q&A session? No? All right. Could I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you very much. We have a set of public council minutes from January 8, 2024. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, any errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Thank you very much. Special public council minutes from January 15th. Could I get a motion to adopt that, please?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you. Conflict of interest, I didn't see that little sheet came out. We don't have one? Okay, so if something comes up during any of these reports, be sure to bring it up. All right, proclamations, presentations, questions, and answer. First proclamation is Bell Let's Talk Day, Deputy Mayor.
Bill Let's Talk Day 2024, whereas January 24, 2024 marks the 14th annual Bell Let's Talk Day, a day of conversation, support, and positive change for mental health, and whereas the Bell Let's Talk Mental Health Initiative focuses on 4 key action pillars: fighting the stigma, improving access to care, supporting world-class research, and leading by example in workplace mental health. And whereas the town of Torbay supports positive mental health for everyone in the community and seeks to improve the lives of all citizens who will experience a mental illness or mental health issue in their lifetime, and those who are struggling with their mental health. Whereas the town of Torbay recognizes that people are experiencing challenges that may affect their mental health. Now more than ever, the need for conversation, awareness, and action around mental health matters, and every action counts. Whereas the town of Torbay will raise a flag to celebrate Bell Let's Talk Day and encourage citizens of Torbay to join the conversation and help create positive change.
Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Scott, do hereby proclaim Wednesday, January 24, 2024 as Bell Let's Talk Day in the town of Torbay and encourage support of this campaign. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? Councillor Appleby?
Thanks, Mayor. This is something that we do every year, and it's really important. And one of the things that the Deputy Mayor mentioned in the proclamation was mental illness and mental health. And, it's really important to be having these conversations because every day we all deal with our own mental health. And there is no stigma with that. Some days you feel great, some days you don't. I remember the Canadian Mental Health Association had a program out, and it said, "Not myself today." And you know what? There are days all of us are like that. And you would wear a button and it would say, "I'm feeling this way." But I think it's really important to have open conversations about how you're feeling. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health. You can't see it, you don't always understand what someone else is carrying or what they're going through. But holding a safe space, especially now this time of the year where it's dark, people are being affected by not having enough sunlight, they're not able to get out and socialize the same, financial woes after Christmas, financial woes with the economy as they are. There's so many different things that people are dealing with every day, health, sickness, all kinds. So, this is a great opportunity to remember to be kind to each other, be kind to your neighbors. Community, that's what we're all about here, and community is supporting each other and looking after each other. And we in Torbay, Newfoundland, Labrador do that quite well. So I may have a handy dandy mayor who I know when I've needed the help, especially after Stormageddon, would take his snowblower and march down the street and help me out, and I thought I couldn't blow any more snow. So to all of our colleagues around the table, thank you for the support for this proclamation. And to anyone who needs a safe space, my phones are always open, my doors are open. Anything you can do to hold space for someone else, please do. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Any other comment? So hopefully I'm working on trying to get one of my co-workers from Bell to come down with me on Wednesday and raise the flag. If I can't, I'll be there and do it myself. But anyhow, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Proclamation Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Councillor Tepper.
Eating Disorders Awareness Week, February the 1st to the 7th, 2024. Whereas an eating disorder is a serious mental illness with often devastating physical implications. Whereas eating disorders affect many individuals and families in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Whereas recovery from an eating disorder is a journey that includes support from families and caregivers. Whereas the Eating Disorder Foundation of Newfoundland and Labrador is a leadership advocacy group dedicated to promoting awareness, treatment services, and providing family support services and information about matters related to eating disorders. Whereas Eating Disorders Awareness Week is a time dedicated to raising awareness, promoting understanding, and providing support to individuals affected by this illness. Whereas February the 1st to the 7th, 2024 is dedicated across Newfoundland and Labrador and the entire country as a special time when many educational and awareness activities take place to help raise the level of understanding of eating disorder prevention, treatment, and recovery.
Therefore, I, Craig Scott, Mayor of the Town of Torbay, do hereby proclaim February 1st to February 7th, 2024 to be observed as Eating Disorders Awareness Week in the Town of Torbay. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? I know we have the Executive Director of the Eating Disorder Foundation. That's what you still are, right? Here. And once we adopt this now, I'll invite Paul up to say a few words and give everybody a rundown of what we're going to do. So with that, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Paul, the floor is yours, buddy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councillors. Appreciate the opportunity and appreciate, as always, the support that we receive from the town of Torbay. I'd like to start by saying it's quite nice to be here on the same night that you're doing a proclamation for the Bell Let's Talk Day, because we work very closely with the folks at Bell Let's Talk within the Eating Disorder Foundation, and they've become a very strong partner and sponsor of ours, so always happy to support their efforts. And I'd like to, we talked a little bit about the stress and particularly the financial piece. I'd like to thank the council for keeping the mill rate the same this year. That certainly eased my stress a little tiny bit. Would have been nice if it could have gone down, but we understand that doesn't happen. Eating Disorder Awareness Week. Over 3 million people in Canada suffer from some form of an eating disorder. And it has the highest mortality rate of any mental illness in the country, with the exception of opioid addictions. So it's a very serious issue. It is an issue that we take February 1st to the 7th every year to do awareness events, to have public information sessions, and to do whatever we can to promote awareness about eating disorders. I heard Councillor Appleby mention the fact that stigma is starting to go away in the area of mental illness, and I agree with that, and I think that's marvelous, because I agree with what you said. Yeah, we all have down days, and we got to find a way to be able to talk about them. Unfortunately, one of the areas that still has a lot of stigma associated with is eating disorders. there's a sense of shame there that individuals and families are not coming forward as rapidly as we would like. So every time I get a chance to speak, I like to raise that point because it's so, so important that you come out, talk to your family physician, come talk to us, and we'll steer you in the right direction. And that's the whole thing. The earlier that somebody gets help, whether it's a family calling on behalf of their loved one or whether it's an individual who says, yeah, I really need help for this, call us. We're a non-judgmental organization, and we play a role that helps you get into the system to get the treatment you need. And from a family perspective, we're there to support families with training and giving them an understanding of what eating disorders are. So as we celebrate this week, I'd like you to think about that. If at council or staff have any events during the year where you have trade show booths or you'd like somebody to come and speak to groups of people and that, we're certainly available to do that sort of thing. So once again, on behalf of the foundation, its board of directors and our staff, I want to thank the town of Torbay for their continued support of Eating Disorder Awareness Week by signing the proclamation, but also on the morning of February the 1st, we're going to raise a flag. And that'll fly for the full week, and we do indeed appreciate that. We've been fortunate this year, by the way, that a number of towns, we've always had, like, Torbay has been there from the beginning, City of St. John's, to City of Corner Brook. But this year we've got St. Anthony, Happy Valley Goose Bay, and several others are also going to be not only signing proclamations. I think there are around 20 towns across the province signing proclamations this year, but you guys were among the first, and that goes back 10 years when I first came on board with the foundation. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity to speak here this evening.
Excellent, thank you. We're get a picture, huh?
Yeah, we got to get a picture. I was told not to come back without having a picture, or at least sent to me.
Did you want me to take one for you, Paul? I can take one for you if you'd like.
Yeah, okay.
You go ahead first.
Okay. All right, I'm first. Here we go. Smile. One more. Craig, look at me. Gotcha. Okay. I'm gonna leave your phone here.
Over here.
Okay, couple more pictures.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Paul.
Podium, Paul.
Thank
Thank you.
All right. One left, proclamation for World Wetlands Day. Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. World Wetlands Day Proclamation, February 2nd, 2024. Whereas World Wetlands Day is celebrated each year on February 2nd to highlight the value of wetland ecosystems. This day also marks the anniversary of the Convention on Wetlands, which was adopted as an intergovernmental treaty in 1971. And whereas wetlands are critically important ecosystems that sustain biodiversity, filter our water supply and provide water, protect us from storms and floods, and store carbon. By recognizing World Wetlands Day, we aim to increase public awareness about how much wetlands do for our community and to encourage actions to protect, conserve, and restore them. World Wetlands Day is for everyone to recognize as these ecosystems are important to us all. And the theme for World Wetlands Day 2024 is Wetlands and Human Well-Being, which recognizes wetlands as critical to people and nature, underscoring the intrinsic value of wetland ecosystems and their benefits and services, including contributions to sustainable development and human well-being. And whereas the town of Torbay and the government of Newfoundland and Labrador signed a municipal habitat stewardship agreements in 1997, committing to the conservation and enhancement of important wetland habitat, Goss's Pond, Upper Three Corner Pond, the Gully, Jones Pond, Western Island Pond, and the shoreline. The town of Torbay maintains this agreement and continues to be supporters of municipal habitat stewardship in our community. And whereas Ducks Unlimited, in partnership with the town of Torbay and SAM, are currently undertaking functional assessments of 40 wetlands in Torbay,
Now therefore, I, Mayor Craig Scott, do hereby proclaim February 2nd, 2024 as World Wetlands Day in the town of Torbay. So moved.
Second.
Been seconded. Comments?
I just want to,
Go ahead, sir.
sorry, Councillor, I saw you put your hand up and then
You go
I
ahead.
spoke. I think that's something that we should be proud of is our signing of the stewardship agreements and the fact that we are taking some, proactive measures in trying to conserve our wetlands and our association with Ducks Unlimited, and we're certainly looking forward to the assessment coming back of the 40 or so wetlands that they are doing analysis on, because they're certainly important to us from a climate control perspective especially, and hopefully we get some carbon tax credits out of that somewhere along the way this year too, so who knows.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't think I understood the importance of wetlands until I became an elected official with the town of Torbay. And I went to a SAM event in my early elected years and learned a bit more as I've been going. But I have to tell you, I've traveled all around this country in my role as councillor in Torbay. And I've been in communities where they've actually had to pay to create engineered wetlands for their communities. And how blessed and lucky are we to live in a space where we're surrounded by them. And we have flora, we have fauna, we have places. There's a wetland right across from where we live where people, they fish, they skidoo, they snowshoe. There's so many, and we actually have an internationally protected wetland in this community. And it's really important because when you look at what they do, it mentions it here. It cleans out water systems. I've learned this past year that wetlands can be created to clean organic waste, which is something that we are doing here. One of the things that I learned at FCM when I was up there in June. And I think it's really, really important that we have these conversations, that we highlight the importance of these wetlands, because most people don't understand why they're so important. But I can tell you in my capacity here the last 5 or 6 years, I've certainly learned a lot about it, and I'm very grateful for the ones that we have. And I'll ask that residents think about it before you're out there on your quad and your bike and going over them. Make sure that the traditional trails that we have, to look at making sure that you're protecting them is something that you're thinking about in your daily life year round. Thanks.
What's that? You ever comment? Great, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. Presentations, new. Q&A, new. Mayor's report. This can be short and sweet. I just want to mention that I did attend the seniors' old Christmas Day social at the Lions Club put off last week. It was a little late, but better late than never. There was a lot of seniors there. It was actually a great crowd. The members of the Lions Club that played the music were awesome, and they had a great spread of food done out there. I know that I was talking to Ross and Sylvain and all the group there from the Lions Club, and they did a great job, and I just want to say thank you to them. Did my regular interview with Catherine with the Northeast Avalon Times, and I actually I did an interview with Cross Border Interviews on Wednesday.
Oh,
It's gonna
did
be-
you?
Yeah, it's
He's
gonna air on their
fabulous.
YouTube channel on February 7th, I believe. Just talk with the town and me. I don't really like to talk about myself too much, but they wanted to, they basically did a kind of, I don't know, man, cradle to the, where I'm to now, for how I got in municipal government and that type thing. It was pretty good. We went on for about an hour and 10 minutes, a little longer than what we were expecting. It was only supposed to be 45 minutes, but I told him, if you let me talk and you don't interrupt me, that's what you're going to get. But yeah, so that'll be coming out in February. I'm interested to see how that goes. They don't edit it, so it is what it is. All right, business arising. I know we had some discussion around that last week. Have we started to pare that down, or that's work in progress?
We have a staff meeting on Wednesday. We're going to be discussing it.
All right. Anybody have any questions on anything in there specifically? All right. Sounds good. Correspondence, we have correspondence here from the Municipal Assessment Agency. Subject about contractual agreements. Guess we'll forward this on to wherever it's gotta go, planning or finance. Alrighty. Committees of council. Committee of the whole, we don't have any committee of the whole report. Planning, land use, development. Where am I to? Council Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. We met on the 16th of January. This is a small report again, although the update information and the tracking items, there are still a lot in the hopper to come forward yet. The first motion refers to the meeting minutes of December 12th for the advisory committee, Torbay Environment Advisory Committee. So I asked people to, when they get a chance, to take a look at those minutes, and there's a motion here to table the minutes. The motion to table the minutes of Torbay Environment Advisory Committee meeting of December 12th, 2023 for town record purposes. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions or comments?
So as I say, within those minutes, there's particularly a suggestion from the committee as to some additional wording they wanted, some more guidelines in relation to the buffering around quarries and things of that nature. So we suggested that we take a look at that under the new municipal plan review that's on the go and incorporate that into those discussions as well. So the minutes are there for everyone's reading purposes.
Okay. Hang on.
Sorry.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Next is motion to accept the 2024 permit listings for the week ending January 17th, 2024. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to refer to the updates there. As everyone knows, the municipal plan review is well underway, and there will be meetings again coming up in the first part of 2024. The Housing Accelerator Fund, we're still waiting on some word back from that fund, and hopefully we'll be able to get some money out of that and move forward with some of the things we're going to do for increasing the number of available houses within the Torbay area. Great Pond Water Supply, the distribution system study, the final is now in a draft format, whatever, and we're reviewing that now, so we'll be bringing the final forward after our next committee meeting, I guess, once we get a chance to review it. Amendments there are listed, as you saw, a South Pond amendment actually in the Northeast Avalon Times this time around, so that is moving forward, as are the other ones associated there in the minutes. The radon testing is due to start in February as well, so I just wanted to bring folks' attention to that. And so is my report on that, Your Worship.
All right. Any questions?
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Thanks, Mayor. Just on the radon testing, I've shared in this chamber before, but every chance I get, I will. Just share that I did find radon in my home. It was tested, I did find it. It's been a couple of years, so I monitor it. This, not so long ago, actually dug a hole in the basement and put a radon fan in there and vented it to the outside of the house. It was an interesting experience, and learned a lot about compressors and how you dig holes in concrete that I didn't know before. But I've got to say that it's made a big difference. The ratings in my home, when it was first sealed, made it livable, but after putting this fan in and having it vented outside, the levels are extremely low now. So I think it's really important that people are aware that, you know, the more sealed up our homes are. I had a newer home thinking I haven't got to worry about this, but my home is so insulated and so sealed that when it was able to get in the house, it was hard to get out. And you know, when you're in your home, you want to be in your safe space, relaxed and enjoying. Buying and getting access to these pucks is not expensive. Send them away and getting the results. It's great that the town is participating in this. It's really important. Please make sure that you're paying attention, because it's an odorless gas that you won't know it's there if you don't test. And it is, you know, there are things you can do. They're not expensive to make sure that you're looking after your health. So I just want to reiterate and touch on that point, and thank you to town staff for moving this forward. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or
Could
comments?
I just mention?
Yes, sir.
Just under the updates as well, number 8, larger residential application files. I think this is interesting, especially for the senior citizens in the town who are contemplating moving out of Torbay. But there's several there, condo complexes, apartment complexes, and others as well. So, you know, I just wanted to highlight it because I think it's interesting. We're finally starting to diversify with these types of housing. So, you know, if people are going to be in the market, as I am soon, you know, it'll be interesting to see how these develop when they come before council.
Yep, good point. Thank you. Any other comments? Alrighty, thank you, sir. Admin and HR, Councillor Manning. Microphone's not on?
There's too many microphones on.
There you go. Try again.
Not that you all want to hear me. So we had our admin and human resources meeting on Monday, January the 15th, and it was myself, Deputy Mayor Thorne Goss, Director of HR, Mark Whalen, and certainly the CAO, Sandy. So the minutes are there. Recruitment and selection. We have several ads out there now. The Corporate Services Administrator and the Capital Asset Mapping Technician both closed on the 19th. So Director of Human Resources will be working now to go through the next steps. Administrative Assistant for Planning and Development is closing on February the 2nd. And once that's done, then the review will be done. Water and Service Technician, Infrastructure and Public Works. This was posted internally with the closing date was January the 12th. And as of Monday, today 22nd, yes. We have an internal employee who has accepted the position, applied for it and was offered the position. So that one is off our list there now. Also, we have a job ad gone out for Fire Prevention Officer, firefighter for the Torbay Volunteer Fire Department. That closes on February the 2nd, and once that's done, the next steps will certainly take place there. For the policies and procedures, they're all listed there that are being worked on as we speak. And under number 3, other items, compensation model and organizational chart review. This is being actively, certainly worked on, and we're moving along in the process with this to get it done and get things finalized. Also, the emergency management plan. There's a discussion to be held with all the senior management team later on this week to look at the next steps required in the review process and to get this file moving quickly. Other than that, if there are any questions, I'll put it to you. If not, that'll be the end of my report.
Okay.
I have one
Go ahead.
question that relates to the fire prevention officer.
Yeah.
I noticed that it's gone for posting, and when we spoke about it at budget time, we had spoken about some concerns around the reporting structure and the actual job description itself and what that position entails. Is council going to see that before this position gets actually hired, or is it going to be somehow circulated or spoken about again prior to?
Okay, if I can get Mark to speak to that? Or
Just repeat the question so I understand it clearly, Tom.
Are we going to be some clarification around the fire prevention officer? When we spoke at budget time, we had some issues, or not issues necessarily, but some questions around reporting structure and how a full-time person reports to a part-time, shall we say, and the actual work during the day, that scenario, what that person's going to be doing.
Yeah, so
Details.
hopefully my mic is on, but so the posting is posted, and there will have to be a obviously a follow-up discussion with the current fire chief and I guess the CAO to determine the reporting structure and how that's going to work in terms of physical location. I think the location of work will be at the fire hall. We've talked as well about working alone and that there needs to be a requirement there, a reporting requirement in to check in, basically. So there are some details in that reporting structure that still need to be ironed out, I guess, and determined.
Yeah, and I've had discussions with the fire chief on this, so this is an ongoing issue. He is aware. One of the things that the fire chief has done, by the way, is he's using a program called Working Alone. Is it, Mark? Yeah. Something to that effect. Because this person obviously is reporting to the fire chief, but the fire chief has a full-time position. So he's utilizing a program to address that.
Can we get a vivid view of the updated job description if someone gets a chance, so we can just have some idea exactly what that looks like from
That shouldn't be a
from an
problem.
overall activity during the day perspective?
Yeah, so I can send out a copy of the job posting and a description to all council for them to have a look at, and that's no problem.
And this working alone scenario, this is not an occupation health and safety work alone standard? Is this a management work alone standard in terms of a reporting structure that a person who is not directly supervised will report into?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
Yeah, if I could, I'm a little confused on that. My understanding of that position would be that, yes, it's reporting to the fire chief, but this would be an employee of the fire department or an employee of the town? How does that work?
Well, it's going to be an employee, a full-time employee of the town of Torbay,
Okay,
reporting to the fire chief. It's the only full-time position, of course, that our fire department has, but it is an employee of the town of Torbay, yes.
so they're reporting to the fire chief, and then the fire chief reports to you on the...
Correct,
Okay. And the support and the social piece of connectedness for that employee who will be working at the fire department, will we have a plan in place for that, for the integration? I'm sure
Yes, yeah.
software would be great, but it's really important, I think, if we're bringing somebody new in, to have something in place where there's a connection.
And I've already discussed that with the fire chief. We're going to do a full orientation, and we're going to be, bringing the clerical staff that we have here, because we're bringing on a second one now as well. So they will be providing support, and that person will be integrated into, the entire Torbay community.
Okay.
Yeah.
so-
And I've had that discussion with the fire chief, absolutely.
Sounds good, thank you. And I just have one other question. Noting the internal posting and the internal awarding of the position, it's normal practice from what I understand within the union, but just
Yes.
because someone in the public may ask the question, would you be able to speak to the normality of that process so that it's clear?
Yes, absolutely. Myself and Mark. The process now, Mark, and perhaps you can speak to this more, is to allow for an internal process first, and if that's not successful, then we move external. But this is an internal opportunity that we allow to our current employees to move, either laterally or ahead. In this case, could be from a part-time to a full-time position, but the opportunity is given to the internal staff initially.
As part of the collective agreement that's in place?
Yeah, that's right. And just to add clarity to that, so we post it for 5 days within, and then we look at internal applicants before we go external. And in this particular case, and Brian, you can give me the name of the organization, but we went out to do a cross-reference on the employees' qualifications from a water and sewer technician perspective. So we were able to do a calculation on what that service and what that experience means in terms of required certification. So in his offer letter, there's a requirement to complete certain certifications within 1 year and 3 years of his employment.
Okay, thank you.
No. So like I said, we go out to the Department of Environment and Water Resources Division, who controls water, wastewater in the province, and they're the one who gives advice on the hiring practices.
Yeah, all good. I just, in case I'm asked the question about it, I'd rather say the video is online, and the people who are the experts at the town who know these things, and management and staff would provide the answers. So thank you.
Yeah.
all
And you can
for
also,
that.
if you do get any inquiries, just tell them to give myself or Mark a call. We'll certainly be happy to talk to them.
Perfect,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, sounds good.
Great. Any other questions? All right, thank you very much. Number 2. Corporate Services, Councillor Tapper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Remember what we said last week? About all these.
I'm going to read them all out.
No, but you don't have to, no motion.
There's not too many this week.
It's good practice for you.
So I'll refer you to document 1, Corporate Services Report. Payroll, regular payroll for 58 employees for the 2-week period ended January 4, 2024, totaled $137,459.86. Accounts payable for the 2-week period ended December 31st, 2023, invoices in the amount of $4,750.89 were processed. For the 12-day period ending January 12th, 2024, invoices in the amount of $75 were processed. So we have invoices for council approval. I will not read out the itemized invoices. They're right in front of you. Just the following 3 operating invoices totaling $85,214.55 are presented for approval. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any questions?
No question.
Right.
For the appeal for 51 North Pond Road, we had a total that came out in the last week or so, but it was for 2023. Can we have the total for 2023 and so far what we've received? The invoice today for 2024, because there was one a couple weeks ago as well. So if we can have all of it, because the one for 2023 didn't show, of course, didn't include the last couple that we've had. So if that's possible.
Okay,
Thanks.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's not a problem.
All right, okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
There's one capital invoice totaling $40,448.95 is presented. So moved for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So we have a couple of motions. So, motion,
Just the first one, I'm in conflict on that one, just one, so.
All right, okay.
Rock Wildlife Animal Rescue, a donation request was received from Rock Wildlife Animal Rescue to assist with the funding of programs relating to its wildlife rehabilitation program. The committee discussed the role that the organization plays in the community and the fact that it is a registered charity. In accordance with the town's donation policy, the committee recommends a donation of $200 to Rock Wildlife Animal Rescue. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Team Perry sponsorship. Team Perry recently won the U18 Under-18 Provincial Men's Curling Playdowns to become Team NL for the 2023 curling season, 2023-24 curling season. This provides the team with the opportunity to represent the province in the men's U18 Canadian Curling Championships in Ottawa, Ontario. The town has received a request for financial assistance to assist with the costs to travel to the national championships. In accordance with the town's donation policy, the Corporate Services Committee recommends a donation of $200 to Team Perry to assist with their travel costs. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
There is one more motion. It's on cell phone policy. I will not read policy in its entirety. The motion is, the committee recommends the adoption of the cell phone policy included as document 2A. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That concludes my report, I believe.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All righty. You're out of here now, are you, Deputy Mayor? Okay. Where am I to? Corporate Services. Economic Development and Tourism. Councillor Apple.
Thank you, Mayor. Myself and Councillor Manning met with the Economic Development Officer on Thursday past from 7 to 8 p.m. So I just wanted to note that because it says here that we have an update, but we did have our meeting. It was a great meeting, a great first meeting with our new Economic Development and Tourism Officer, and very excited to have Carrie Murray on our team and to finally get our meeting off the ground. And I've got to say, we have a lot of excitement and passion in these committee meetings, but this one was really over the top. We're really, really excited to have Carrie here. In the update, talks about reaching out to the high school about the Youth Entrepreneur Competition for 2024. And of course, this is important to get youth in our community involved in thinking about entrepreneurship and what role it may have for them. We chatted about the online business directory, and I know that Carrie's been doing some work to review and get that updated and make sure that the information in there is accurate. And he's also been reaching out and sending emails to the business community to let people know that he's here, so that's all excellent. A discussion on forming a regional chamber of commerce. So right now there's a chamber for the town of Portugal Cove St. Phillips, and this has been a conversation that's been ongoing for quite some time. They're interested to explore the idea of expanding into the Killick Coast region, working with the Killick Coast communities. And I absolutely see the benefit in where that could go. So exploring that conversation, see where that rolls. I know if I go back to my previous lived experience on the Burin Peninsula, when I worked home with the zone board and that sort of stuff, they have a Burin Peninsula area chamber of commerce where the communities come together and the businesses across the communities have one unified voice. So there is absolutely, potential for something like this to be of benefit in the Killick Coast, but where it goes and how it rolls out, we'll see. So there is a conversation that's tentatively booked for the 27th at the Commons, so would certainly encourage business people and community people who may have an interest in the business community to come out and be a part of that. And the tourism engagement session, we're going to be planning a public engagement session with our business and tourism community. And Carrie's also filling out an application for the capacity building program for financial support. And I have to tell you, as Councillor Manning and I talked about all of the economic development potential in this community, there's a lot of excitement. And one of the things that we talked about, Mayor, was some of the lessons learned that you had from the UMC in Bonavista. And some of the things that I've seen happen, in the town of Burin, where I grew up and where I came from, and the things that have changed there. And then ideas that people have talked about here in our community and what they could be. So it was a very exciting hour of communication and action. And great to have the position filled again and someone there working with us to move the agenda items forward. So it was excellent. Councillor Manning, do you have anything you want to add?
No, that's good.
You're good? All right. Well, if there's any questions, we're happy to answer them, but if not, that ends my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? I know that that online or the farmers market project, wasn't it somehow connected to the Portugal St. Phillips Chamber too?
Yes.
It wasn't it? The one that it's still ongoing because you can go online and order your vegetables or whatever it is that you're selling and go pick it up, right? It's in Portugal St. Phillips somewhere.
Yeah, we talked, Mayor, a bit about, like expanding the Torbay community markets, talking about bringing in the agritourism, things that are happening with the tourism study that's just gone on. We did talk about, trying to bring in more of that connection with the, local farmers people who are growing goods like that to have an ability to pick those things up here. We talked about, some of the events when I was in Ottawa, and you would know this from your days up there, where they have different places where vendors get together and they have, like there were skating rinks and Byward Market, that kind of stuff, where, people can sell their wares and do cool things. So there's a lot of really cool ideas that we talked about. There's a lot of possibilities where we can you know, as a council, provide support and encouragement for anybody who's interested to open a business. And Kerry wants everybody to know that he's here, he's an asset and a resource, and happy to provide support and have conversations with businesses as they continue to grow and develop in our community.
All right, excellent.
you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Very good. Moving on. History, heritage, culture, arts. Councillor Tapper.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just to highlight some items on the report, the minutes. The staff up at History House are busy again. They're working on designing content of 2 new exhibits scheduled to open at the end of February, which is very, very good and encouraging. Cleaning and organizing storage areas, storage units, they're looking after them too. Museum services and operations, the minutes are there from the Museum Advisory Committee. The Manion Project under Archival Reference Services and Operations. The manager and CAO are meeting with the executive of the Manion Project. Actually, it was today. It was a very informative meeting, and I think everybody, and we're hoping to get the Manion project up and running again. They talked about a time in Torbay, and managers preparing a call for expressions of interest to form a volunteer committee to organize a time in Torbay this summer. So if anybody is interested out there in getting on that committee, it's usually a great time with the events we look forward to. One other item, the Bradbury Memorial Fund. History House has begun receiving donations for the creation of a memorial to the victims of the Bradbury disaster of 1974. A committee to oversee the funds and the project is required, so that's under Annex C in your report. If you move along. So there is a motion here. Be it resolved that the town of Torbay establish a voluntary committee to administer funds donated to the municipality for the creation of a memorial to the victims of the 1974 Bradbury fire in accordance with the policies and regulations of the town of Torbay. So the report is there. I so move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions?
Just a question. I'm curious to understand what the intent with the fund is. Is the fund only to create the memorial, or is it to have an ongoing fund that would be dispersed somehow? I don't understand how that is planned to be designed, administered. We're talking about the committee and the memorial. All that makes sense to me. But is that the only scope of what the fund would do? Once the memorial exists, you know, and is complete, is there something ongoing here, or is there, you know, where it would end? Is the fundraising going to stop when the memorial is created? I'm not quite sure what that looks like. I just wanted to get a better understanding of what the scope is here.
Yes, it is just for this particular one project, for the monument.
Okay.
As you know, this is the 50th anniversary of the fire, the tragic fire, that took 7 members of the Bradbury family. We were hopefully going to have an ecumenical service on the anniversary date, which was Friday past. Unfortunately, another member of the Bradbury family passed away, so the family decided to have his funeral on that day. So we postponed the ecumenical service. Meanwhile, we did have word go out that people were wanting to contribute, because, you know, the word was out that we were doing this, having some kind of a monument to the family as well, most likely in the prayer garden. So yes, it is just for this project, but our manager at History House said we better put something on paper just to outline, and that this is what he came up with.
Okay, so the intent of the motion then is to form a committee, fundraise to be able to put the memorial in place, and the maintenance of the memorial that we're putting there? Is that something that we as a town are going to do? How is,
Well, that's something I would anticipate we would do. It's only going to be a small monument. It's not going to be huge. You know,
Right.
very small, in fact. But, yeah, it's going forward, you know. And there's people, volunteers, that are looking after our grounds over there, so I'm sure that would be included, you
yeah.
know.
I think it's a
Won't
great
be-
idea. I'm absolutely all for supporting this. I just wanted to understand the intention and, you know, what we're trying to do a little bit more. That's all.
Okay,
Thank you,
Right, any-
Councillor Tapper.
any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's it for my report.
That's it. All right. Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Pollard.
Thank you, Your Worship. We met on the 17th, bright and early in the morning, as usual, but it doesn't make sense because we started too early. It's mostly minutes here, so I won't spend a lot of time running down through it, as everyone can certainly read, but we did speak about the trail development, and there's commentary there on the various statuses of the trails in process. As you know, some are in legal systems, and then others are doing, just waiting for some matters to be cleared up in terms of land ownerships and things of that nature. So they're there to read. The safety lights, that is close to completion now, and the tender to be released for those, so hopefully we have those lights outside here for the safety crosswalk across from the fire department. That should be well underway, hopefully early summer. The salt storage shed, we're still waiting on the RFP for that, and we won't have any further commentary on that. That actually comes back with some mock-up on price and cost on the basis of the tender. Sidewalk construction, interesting note that we were allowed to maintain the WSP as the engineer for the projects that we say, or the consultant for the project. There's an overview of the projects that are in the hopper for 2024. List of them there. I won't go into them because it's fairly lengthy. And that's in addition to the day-to-day things that the department does as well. Would I like to ask the motion? Who's there?
No. Keep going.
Keep going. The project in relation to the stormwater management, we broke that down into two areas, Bridge Road and White Waste Pond area, and the Gully and Rattley Brook Drive. And because we had done that, there was a change order from the engineers to put that out under two separate tenders, so that we could get a better handle on the cost moving forward. So there's a motion here, motion to approve change order 1, additional work required due to dividing the project into 2 separate phases, and some additional work for letters to residents as part of the multi-year capital work stormwater management mitigation project number 17 MYCW 22-00067. The estimated price to complete this work is estimated at $3,320 plus HST. So moved.
Second.
Who did seconded? Questions?
I have one I didn't think to ask in the committee meeting. Sorry. I just want to make sure, I know that when we broke out the stormwater management planning, it's sequential, and the reason for that was a $10 million price tag, so we wanted to make it reasonable and something that we could do over time. But by breaking this out, Brian, can you confirm for me that when we do break this out, that same sequential pattern of development will continue? Because one of the things that we talked about was making sure that the work was done in a way so that, you know, what we've done each year gets capped off, so there's no further impact downstream. And I'm sure I'll get asked that question, so I just wanted to ask you if you could confirm that for us, please.
Yes, you're correct. And that's the way it's divided that way. Bridge Road will be done before anything upstream and up the, around Rattling Brook. So that's the reason we're doing that portion first.
Perfect.
Just like we had planned originally,
Yep, excellent, thank you.
of course.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And the remainder of the report is there for everybody's reading, Your Worship. So ends my report.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I know that I did receive an email today from the Department of Transportation about in Milan, the query we had from a resident in there. Were you on that email? Came from the minister, I'll forward it on to you. And you can add it to your public works agenda. It just talks about,
Is that in relation to speeding?
yes,
Okay.
it talks about the options available to us, and it looks like he's talking about those speed signs. and that the department is willing to work with the town of Torbay to do this, I think, so. I'll forward that on. I thought you were on, sorry. Okay. Oh, recreation and community services. Councillor Goss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We met, myself, Deputy Mayor Thorne Goss, and Director Jen Martin on the 17th of January at 3 p.m. The things we discussed are there for anybody's viewing. There is one motion to give some context to it. The committee discussed and reviewed the draft policy for events and rentals in which alcohol is being served and has recommended it be approved and followed moving forward. Just to give some scope on this, the purpose of this policy is to provide guidance and consistency to town staff and residents as it relates to hosting events, activities, rentals permitting the use of alcohol at applicable town facilities. The scope of it would be town plan and ran events involving the serving of alcohol at the Torbay Common, facility rentals requesting alcohol be permitted at the Torbay Common, and facility rentals requesting alcohol be permitted at Upper Three Corner Pond. So the motion reads, motion to approve the town events / rental alcohol policy as seen in the attached document and to implement it for all requests and events moving forward. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions?
Just the prices written into the policy. I'm not in favor of having the prices written there. They should refer to some external one that we can change easier. If not, we always got to be adopting a new policy to change the price. So if we can think about that for an amendment to that somewhere along the way.
I was thinking the same thing.
Could we ask the question of, is the price related to contracting, or like, is there some stipulation to that before we make a change? Just curious where that price came from.
June?
The prices that are in there reflect an increase from the current price. So right now we're charging $5. So basically it's in there to show an increase in the price, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in the policy. It does state later on that we can change the policy. It's going to be reviewed annually, and we can change it in between that if we needed to, but we can take it out for sure. It doesn't affect the policy.
All right.
Question, sorry, Mayor, is it okay? The question I have is, number one, I think this is fabulous. We need this in place because what this does is it protects the town and has an external service provider to make sure that, alcohol is being served responsibly and that risk to town and staff is mitigated. What I'm wondering though is the price point for consistency. If I was renting the Common and I'm having a wedding and I'm, inviting people in, well, if it's $6.50 as it is here, but Rhonda's getting married tomorrow and she's got 7 and Tony's got 8, then that could cause a problem. So from a consistency perspective, to have the price there, that makes sense to me. However, I guess what I'm wondering is from the service provider perspective, do we have a standing offer or something in place so that that price is consistent? If you're charging $6.50, if that is the price, then, the town is not hiring one person, can't hire someone else, and then you've got a situation where we're at a loss because we have to sell it $6.50, but the price is $8. Did you guys have conversation about how that was going to be set up and what we're doing with that? Because I think that's an important part of this conversation.
We would determine the prices always. So if the bartenders or any caterer, we would indicate they would follow the prices that we charge because the liquor we purchased, that's one of the requirements of the liquor license. So we would totally be able to control the price for all events.
Okay, so the price is independent of the contractor.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's correct.
Thank you.
I agree with Tony though. I think that we should remove the specific price from the policy. And
How do we ensure then that everybody gets the same price?
It should refer to a schedule. It's not that,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with the fees,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that it should refer to a schedule of fees somewhere with those prices. So if we decide to change the price, then but the
We don't have to
policy is
change the
already written. We'll charge a drink price. Please see the rates for drinks, whatever, the quota for drinks, whatever it is. it usually, it just means that if someone goes back and looks at this and, okay, somewhere out the way, next week Liquor Corporation ups the price of beer or something along those lines, we gotta go back and change our policy now to adjust our prices if we so desire, right?
Right, if you're
Rather than
referring-
just change the price schedule. The intent of the policy is great and all that, but I mean, I never am one in favor of having the dollar values or anything associated with a policy. They should refer to some external listing or something along those that we can change without having to go through a motion of council all the time.
Right. So, to that point, go ahead, Jen.
I can change it so that it reflects, if you go further down, there's other prices, but it says C, Schedule A, Schedule B.
Yeah.
I can change the prices so that it's in one of the schedules
Yep.
and just reference that if that'd be better.
For ease of this, I'm fine to accept it as is, just to take it back and just get the policy in place and then just review it to see what we can do from, and it's not only this policy, it's the other policies that refer to any schedule of fees or anything along those lines, right?
All right, so let's adopt this one now as it is, and then staff could take it back and amend that to direct it to a schedule, so that if we want to change the prices, we don't have to change the policy. How's that?
So we could have a friendly amendment to the policy as it is here now to remove the price and then refer to a schedule that staff and committee will bring forward. Is that what we should do, Mayor? What do you think?
We can make a change to a friendly amendment to a motion, but we really can't make a change to a policy, and that's be a motion, I don't think. No. So
Okay.
it's best to, let's adopt it as it is.
Yep.
Then they can, so that it doesn't prevent them from doing something tomorrow or next day.
Yeah.
And then allow them to go ahead and make that change, and then we can bring it back and adopt it again. No big deal. All right?
Sounds good.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, go ahead. Just have something, Jim?
I was gonna say we could defer it because our next alcohol event is until the end of February, but then if a rental comes in between now and then,
Right.
Yeah.
Let's just adopt it. We already
Yeah.
talked about it, motion it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Perfect.
And that ends my report, Mr. Mayor, unless there's any more questions.
All right, any questions? All right, perfect.
Just one,
Go ahead.
actually, sorry. The
I thought I
accessi-
said perfect.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Go ahead.
the accessibility plan is in here. Do we have a motion to adopt that, or is it for just an FYI?
That's something that's been working on, right?
yeah, that's the legislation the provincial government come out with, but it doesn't have to be approved by council. So this is really just a working document that'll be updated every 3 years. And right now, there's no commitment from council to fully commit, I guess, as a motion. But if that's something you guys want to do, I mean, that's something you guys can bring forward. But right now, it doesn't have to be approved.
I would think that we should approve the accessibility act if it mentions also what we're gonna do and what our implications are around it.
I will
Right,
say
accessibility
that
plan.
the legislation deadline was December 31st.
Yeah, we already made,
2024?
yeah, but we made a motion to comply with that, didn't we, Sandy? To say that we were gonna make the plan to make the plan?
Yes, yeah, not the actual plan itself, but this is a plan. We have 3 years basically before this is reviewed again, so this is a plan to come up with a plan. And this was legislatively required, but there was a motion put forward, but not necessarily on the actual plan itself.
Right.
I think Councillor Pollard makes a really good point, though. If we're bringing forward to the public a document of how we're going to do it and what we're doing, and then if someone comes back and questions us as a council and says, "What in that? Well, we never adopted it."
This plan here, this what's in here is the work in progress.
Right.
So there's really nothing to adopt, it's a work in progress. It's like the town plan, we don't adopt it until it's finished. But we did pass a motion to go ahead and create the town plan, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is basically what we're doing here, right, Sandy?
Yeah, but I mean, having said that, now there's no issue. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a simple motion, if you wanted to go that route.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just think for clarity, to Councillor Pollard's point, that, you know, for the clarity, the policy, the document that I've read here, I would have no problem if there was a motion brought forward to adopt it.
Okay.
But, and, you know, this is new for all of us. It's a process that we're working our way through and learning. But I just was, you know, of the opinion that if Councillor Pollard wants to bring forward that motion, I'd be happy to second it.
Sure. Can we send it back though, allow you to come up with what needs to be in the motion to make sure we're motioning the right thing.
Sure, we can go back
And
to the
then bring
committee.
it back to the next meeting.
Yeah. Back to
Rather
the committee and
than-
we'll bring it forward the next meeting. That's simple. No
All
problem.
right, okay. Thank you. Good?
Oh, yeah, oh, perfect, yeah, yeah,
Right.
just,
All right, liaison committees, Atlantic Mayor's Congress, I don't have any update. Intergovernmental Affairs, don't have any update. I think we sent a letter. It was on my desk, I saw it the other day from the RNC Association. Community engagement, yes. They're looking for, to increase, the numbers, I guess, for the RNC, which just so happens, I noticed on, social media the last couple of weeks, a really big push by the RNC on recruitment right now, so
Mhm.
it's always a good thing. I'd like to see that organization get the resources that they need, because we all know that they, it's been a struggle for a number of years. Jack Burn Regional,
No update. We're having a meeting
Uh,
soon on the 7th, I think.
I have a question. Our current, board members, are they remaining in place right now, or do we need to go out and get new ones?
Well, the resident ones were just done, so they're just, so
Okay.
it just depends on what you want to do from a council liaison perspective,
Right.
really. And the president has changed, obviously, it's Mark Verdi now of Pooch Cove,
Okay,
as opposed to,
so hopefully by our next council meeting, we'll come forward myself and, see, I'll have a chat with the committees.
Yep.
And
And
if
liaisons,
anybody
yep.
wants to serve on Jack Burn Arena for a try, let me know, I'll stick you there. Alrighty, Northeast Avalon Joint Council, Deputy Mayor's not here, Ralph, you get a report?
no, I didn't,
Okay,
couldn't attend the meeting.
Sky. RNC? Nope, no report. I kind of already talked about them. Torbay Volunteer Fire Department, Councillor Manning.
Okay, the minutes are there from their last meeting last week, and as always, they continue to continue with their education and their training and all that stuff, and they're working towards the 50th anniversary celebrations coming up. And I spoke about the position we spoke about earlier. So other than that, the minutes are there for review, and it's a well-oiled machine going on over there.
Excellent, that's what I like to hear. Well-oiled.
Thank you.
Alrighty, UMC, I don't have any, update. I will give just a quick rundown though of that email I sent last week. That, prior to last week, I just found out that, the town of Torbay can have a additional or a representative at the UMC committee. That's not really a committee, it's more of a caucus group at M&L besides me, because I'm the chair of that. I'm not really there as the representative for the town, so I put out the interest to the rest of the council to see who would be interested in serving on that. There's 4 meetings a year, and so we'll have to work that out, figure out who we're gonna appoint there for the next 2 years, I guess.
can I speak to that, Mayor?
Sure.
The UMC, as I understand it, there's one vote for
We don't really vote on stuff.
but if there was a vote, there's one vote for the community. The cost for an extra UMC representative from the town of Torbay would have to come from the town of Torbay. Right now, M&L covers your fees and your costs as a board member to participate. So for us to appoint somebody as another UMC member to go out, the town would have to incur the cost of the travel, the hotel, the per diems and whatnot. I don't understand that in the budget that we have an allocation that's available for that at this point. So I think we want to have a look at those implications, and then would it be a consistent person to do that, because that's an additional cost, would that come out of someone's professional development, or is that over and above and beyond, would it impact their ability to participate in other spaces? So I
Right.
think some further analysis and conversation around what that would look like would be,
So to those points, it's not an additional representative for the town of Torbay, it is a single one. Because I am the chair, I'm not representing the town, I'm there for MNL. The UMC is a caucus of the largest 23 municipalities in the province, which Torbay is a member of. Prior to my being appointed or elected to that board, the town used to always have a UMC representative appointed to be the UMC rep, and that was covered off in the budget. And you're right, we didn't anticipate that, so we don't have any additional resources in the budget to be able to do that. So we would still appoint somebody as our official representative and a alternate, because not only members of council that are represented at the UMC, also the economic development officer and the CAO as well. So there's 4 names goes into MNL about who the representatives are for the town of Torbay. Would be the primary rep, secondary, and the CAO and the economic development officer. And the only difference now is that we are allowed to send an additional person from the town of Torbay because I am the chair. It's no different than the small towns. When small towns get together, they can send however many people from their council as they want, right? So it's just a little different as the UMC group. We don't make decisions, or we don't take votes, or we don't do that kind of stuff. Sometimes we make recommendations back to the MNL board, but ultimately the MNL board are the ones that are the deciders.
I'm still confused as to why we would incur an extra cost to send somebody else out there if you're already there, and that's been our past practice for the last 2-3 years.
Because we didn't know any different. We didn't know any different, right? So the opportunity is there. If we choose to send anybody, that's entirely up to us, or to the person who decides that they would like to be that representative.
Right, so bottom line is that if a person represents on UMC, the money comes out of the budget, the $2,500 per council, or whatever it is, that would draw that down. Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, that's-
you know, we really need, and sorry, I'll revisit this again, but from an overall budget perspective, and I know we're just starting the year, but certainly for next year and beyond, for whatever, we really need to look at what our mandatories are in terms of what meetings we have as a council to, you know, a duty really to attend versus what professional development really looks like versus optional ones. I mean, UMC, we as a large town should be at that table somewhere along the way and have represented there. We're lucky this time around that you're yourself, you know, you're at the head of the table there. And there are other meetings around that the town of this size should attend, because number one, we have input for smaller towns, and as well there are takeaways that we can come back and certainly make our town grow better. And I still think that we're getting caught up in when we talk about professional development, and that budget line is the difference between mandatory meetings and what a person does to enhance their own personal knowledge and things of that nature. And these are 2 separate different things. One is a set of mandatories, and one is where options should be. And I think we should really go down that road moving forward. I mean, we do it for staff. I mean, staff here has you know, the rights to go to their professional association meetings and council. It's invaluable experience to get with your peers and learn what other towns are doing and how they handle certain things and bring back. It's just a wealth. Everybody doesn't need to go, no, but certainly there needs to be some consideration of those dollars when we come to talk budget, and not just try to skimp and save. There are mandatory things we have to do.
Right.
Sorry, that's my soapbox.
Agreed. Anyway, so we'll deal with that as it comes up. With the committee structure, we'll have a chat about it. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, notice of motion done. New business. Pass. Councillor Eppley.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to extend condolences to the family of Minister Derek Bragg. Minister Bragg was an integral part of us getting the funding for the sidewalks that we have here in the town. And it was a great pleasure to know him. He had one of the best sense of humors of anybody I've known in this sector, and he was always kind and a gentle, wonderful human. So I just want to extend my serious condolences to him and his family and thank him for his service. He was an amazing person to work with. I'd like to thank the volunteers in the community who are out this time of the year, clearing off the ice rinks and making spaces where families, and many of them, are out enjoying the outdoors. People are checking the ice depth to make sure it's safe. They're out there. When I was coming down, I was passing a Whitrod Pond on the way here, and it was just amazing to see people out enjoying them. And I've got to say, I wanted to issue a thank you to the town as well for the work that we've done in our trail development. I was out this weekend with the dog and exploring the new trails in Upper Three Corner Pond that I didn't even realize were cut until I was up there this weekend, because I haven't had a chance to be up in a while. But every time I turned around, there was someone else with their dog, their family, their child, whatever, out enjoying the fresh air and the space and nature, and it was just magical. So just want to extend that thank you, because we talk about these things in budget, we talk about it around here, but when you're out and you're in the space and you see people enjoying it, it's truly spectacular. So just wanted to issue those couple of thank yous. Oh, and to the Lions, you had mentioned that was a great event. I saw it on Facebook, but they do an awful lot of work in the community. And I know they were really excited to host this event. When I joined them on the Christmas parade route, I was up in the float with them, and they were really excited about making that happen. So just a big thank you to them for that.
Okay.
Thanks, Mayor.
Well said. Thank you very much. I just want to say thank you to council and staff for all your work you've been doing for the last couple of weeks since we last met. Good job. Thank you very much. And I just want to highlight couple of utes from our town, and I know that Alex Wells, who his mom Joni is she's the firecracker, and she's been plastered all over Facebook for the last while, and I want to congratulate Alex. He's at Southwest Minnesota State University wheelchair basketball program, and he introduced me to wheelchair basketball when we did that demo one year for the Killy Coast Games, which went off really well. We did it at the school, and it was kind of a demo thing that we did. I still firmly believe that we need to broaden our horizons when it comes to the Killy Coast Games to try and include more people, particularly those with disabilities, and there's other types of sports out there that we could be doing. Wheelchair basketball is one, certainly, that I sat in a wheelchair and I did it, and there's not everybody that plays wheelchair basketball it has 100% disability. There's certain levels I know that I learned through that process, and I want to say congratulations to him. He's doing a great job down there. I also want to say congratulations to Amanda Piercy. She is at Mount St. Vincent University playing basketball. And I know her from basketball here at Holy Trinity. My daughter played basketball with her in high school. She was named the Canadian Collegiate Athletic Association Athlete of the Week last week, and her mom had that plastered all over Facebook. And Amanda's she's a wonderful person, and I want to congratulate her on that. So her and Alex are doing great things in the world of basketball. One in a wheelchair, one not a wheelchair. So it just goes to show that, for our little town, that we certainly have lots of people that are making a name for themselves around. So, Joni, there you go.
Well,
All right. Q&A, did we get any questions came in? No, we did not. I guess we answered everything. Next public council meeting is scheduled to take place Monday, February 5th, 2024, 6:30 right here in the council chamber in the town of Torbay. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn, please. Moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.